Hello everyone and welcome back to the Fishing with Matt channel. Today we're going to be installing some more Railblaza Rib Ports onto my inflatable boat, and we're going to be also fitting a Railblaza fillet board. So yeah, stay tuned, let's get into the video. So if you are new to the channel, this is my inflatable boat. It's a Hydrus H5 from the Inflatable Boat Fishing Company. Links will always be in the description. But yeah, this is a really cool setup in the UK. I'm pretty sure these get shipped worldwide as well. We've got an awesome 15 horsepower Tohatsu engine, C-Max Deluxe wheels, and yeah, the H5 Hydrus. So today's video, we'll be installing some more Railblaza ports. This boat comes with Railblaza ports installed already. I've already put another 2 on there, and we're going to put another 2 to make it 8 in total. We're going to put some really cool accessories on here today that have been sent out by Railblaza, so a massive shout out to the guys there. Really do appreciate it. Do check them out. The link will be in the description down below. But yeah, happy days. We have got a 4th rod holder here, so 2 people can have 2 rods. We've got the camera boomstick 600. This is a really cool accessory that allows me to have this off the side of the boat so we can get some different footage, different angles of me catching some fishies. Obviously got 2 rib ports that we're installing, and then the massive bait chopping board, which is really cool and exciting. If you're going to attempt to put some Railblaza ports or anything to do with Railblaza or glue anything on your boat, these are the things that you're going to need. So you're going to need some PVC glue. Make sure that you're checking if your rib or sib is Hypalon or if it's PVC, as they're 2 different chemicals for the glue, and if you use the wrong one you could potentially melt or damage your boat. My one's PVC, so we've got the PVC here, and then we've got a curing agent. This is 2-part glue, and then this big one is just 1-part glue, so you can just use the 1-part glue, but with the hardener is what you want to be using. You're going to want a tub like this, a clean one. I'm going to go clean this out, and a paintbrush. This is to mix the glue and the hardener together. You're also going to need some tape. I really recommend some Gorilla tape instead of using masking tape. You'll run into a lot less problems if you're using the strong stuff straight from the start. And then also you're going to need some pens. I've got a normal ballpoint pen. I've also got a Sharpie as well. Also, you will need some acetone or some vodka or that sort of thing, isopropyl alcohol, to wipe stuff off. And also you'll need a hairdryer for heat. So yeah, that's some good top tips there and what you'll need. So the fillet table comes packaged in a bit of plastic with the logo clipped on the top. In the package you get the 2 attachments to screw onto the bait board and attach onto your boat. And then also in the same bag you get some screws to screw into these. On the bottom of the bait board you have 4 holes here where you can attach these. So you can do 3 different types of width. You've obviously got the widest there, medium, and then the shortest in there. For my setup, I reckon I'm going to be using the 2 wider ones. That'll give it a little bit more extra stability. So this fillet board has been really well designed. You can use it on any type of boat. Obviously with the inflatable boat you put it on, stick it on. On different types of boats you can use the screw fittings to screw onto your boat. But it's really nicely designed. It's a really nice thick plastic, very durable feeling. There's also designed into it is a draining channel all the way around. So that means you're not going to get juices of fish going everywhere. At the top there is a place where you can drill a hole, so you could either feed water through here or have the water and waste products dripping out onto the side of the boat and into the water, which is really cool. And then at the top you have 2 channels up here for you to fit some knives in there. With it being Railblaza, you can obviously disconnect it once it's connected with these, and it'll be really easy to clean it. So what we've got to do is just obviously pop it off and then clean it, which is very nice. So to start off the fitting of the Railblaza chopping board, what I'm going to do is screw on both of these connectors, and then what I'm going to do is get one of the Railblaza ports and stick it on. Obviously one side will be put in here and then the other side will be loose. What we'll do is we'll have it hovering over the spot that I want it, and I'll be able to trace around the Railblaza star port and make sure that we get the fitment perfectly. So I'm going to start by screwing the 2 attachments onto the bait board. There are 4 screws for each one, so yeah, let's start doing that. So it appears that the screws used are sort of self-tapping ones, so they're screwing into the plastic, which is really good. Makes it nice and strong. Obviously we've got the classic Railblaza ribbed bits here, so that means that you can dial in your chopping board to whichever angle you like. We're most likely going to have it up straight like that, so I'm going to do it like that for now. Next thing that I'm going to do is get one of the ports out, put it onto there, and then fit them both together, and then we can mark up where we're going to be sticking the port. If you haven't watched my previous video where I installed 2 rib ports, then this is basically the same sort of thing. So inside these packs you get a couple of things. These are designed to go on any boat you like. You can screw them on as it is, or as they've got in here, a 3M pad. These things, unless you're putting it on like a back of a transom or the side of an aluminium boat or something like that, just gone, see you later. Don't want to be using that stuff, especially not on a sib. Please do not fit that on a sib, otherwise you will run into problems. But yeah, you get, oh, there you go, that's upgraded. It's upgraded, yes. Last time we got a little bit of like Scotch pad, basically an abrasive sponge. But now they've actually put a bit of, it looks like 240 grit sandpaper there. And then as well, they've put 2 isopropyl alcohol wipes in as well, which is really, really good. So as I said, to mock this all up, what I'm going to do is get both of these open. I'm going to put it into the one that's already attached on the boat. Put that in there. And then get the other one. There we go, it's flat there. What I'll do is I'll make sure that's all lined up, and I'm going to trace it around the outside, but we'll get the camera up and have a quick little demo around the boat and see how it looks. But that's going to be absolutely awesome on a sib. I honestly cannot wait to get this installed. Look how cool this is going to be. This is going to be like the natural seating position, or it could be that I'm sitting at the top and facing the back of the boat. So to have a bait table on a sib, this is going to be absolutely incredible. Just chopping up the bait, keeping it up here. You can use this as a table for like making rigs and stuff like that. It's got so many purposes to it. This is going to be so, so cool. I cannot wait. So I've got the port where I want it to be. I've got 2 different pens. I've got a ballpoint pen, I've got a Sharpie. So imagine on the white stuff, I'm going to use the ballpoint, and then on the black part, the PVC, I'm going to use the Sharpie because the ballpoint won't show up. But basically, yeah, got it all lined up. What I'm going to do, actually what could be a good idea is if I put a little bit of tape on there just to keep it where it is. We're going to do that actually. So here's a little tip. In my last video, I started off using masking tape and I moved on to Gorilla Tape. And believe me, it is a lot easier if you just start with the Gorilla Tape. Masking tape just isn't strong enough for the sort of stuff you want to be doing and sticking to PVC, especially if there's a little bit of dirt on there, but the Gorilla Tape will stay strong. So yeah, just going to get 2 sides of this taped up, and then we'll do a template around it. I'm going to use one hand to hold the port down nicely, and then use the other hand to draw around. To be fair, I may have been able to get away with using a pencil, and then it would have rubbed off. But yeah, just make sure you're getting the tight seal all the way around, just to make sure that you're getting a good outline. So we've got that bit with the pen. Gonna get the Sharpie and go around the other side. What you'll most likely be able to see is just sort of like a chemical trail rather than the pen, but it should be good enough for what we're doing. There we go then. So I don't know how well you'll be able to see the line on the black bit of the PVC. I can see it's sort of turned into a purple colour, but we've got the port all done up there. So now we're going to be ready for preparation on this side. We'll go do the same on the other side as well. So I've got both of the sides all marked up. The next stage that we're going to do is get some of the tape and tape all around this, and then we're going to get onto sanding. If you don't put the tape around it, then obviously you're going to sand in the wrong areas and you'll get scuff marks on your boat where you don't want it, and it will show after everything is done. So yeah, it's good to start masking up now. As I said, you're best off using Gorilla Tape. This stuff will really, really stick nicely. So I'm going to go around all of these, get really nice crisp corners so the glue will adhere nicely. It's very nice. So like a lot of jobs, it is a lot of preparation to do just a tiny bit of the actual action we're going to be doing. So as you can see, I've got a sort of pattern going on here. So I did the main 4 on the outsides, then I did a diagonal one on each side, and then what I'm doing is 1 more patch each side, well 2 in the end. So yeah, 1 diagonally, another one at another angle, and then a 3rd one. So 2 each side of the 45 degree, and then that gives you a nicer curve. You could, if you want to be even more accurate, do like 4 and get an even better curve. But I'll show you in a minute how it looks. Well, what I'll do, I'll show you now. So as you can see, we are still missing 1 here and 1 up there, but I've put 1 down here and we're missing the 1 there. So we've got a really nice angle here. Just need to put that 1 bit of tape there and we'll be good to go. So that's what the final product looks like. As you can see, you can't really see any of the lines. There's a small little imprint just where we traced around, which is good. But as you see, yeah, really nice clean lines there. You can obviously see the patch, it's got a good shape, so that's good. Go do the other side as well, then we'll get to the sanding stage. One quick thing that you might be wondering is with this strip along here, it's an extra bit of material on the actual outside of the PVC tube. So that means there's a little bit of a lip between this white bit and the black bit here. I don't envision this to be any problem at all with putting the glue on each side of the pad and on the boat. Obviously we've got the ports already stuck on here. This one's overlapping as well, so I don't think that'll be a problem. And if you have that sort of thing on your boat, then yeah, I don't think it should be a problem. So here's the second side. I sort of chimed in a little bit and did a better job. I realised that where I'm tearing the tape in half, it's making a bit of a rugged line. So I just used the outside straight factory edge. We've got an even better looking shape here. Obviously the other side is perfect, but this side is perfect. So as I showed in the kit, it came with a bit of 240 grit sandpaper. We'll start off by sanding the surface here. So yeah, all you got to do is just rough this surface up. You really want to be making it as abrasive as possible to make sure that the glue sticks nicely. If you have too smooth surfaces, then it's obviously not going to stick as well. You need to be careful with this if you're using an even more higher grit or lower grit sandpaper, because if you go through your material, then you're up poo creek without a paddle basically. So yeah, you don't want to be going too far, but you don't want to be not going far enough. So I'm going to carry on scraping this up. I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. But basically what you'll see is these bits will be shiny before, and then afterwards they'll be all dull and scratched up. So I've scuffed it all up with 240 grit sandpaper, and on the Railblaza port it looks pretty good, but I'm still not really satisfied that it is coarse as I need. So I've gone to the shop and I've got some 80 grit sandpaper. Actually this is 60 grit. I do believe I have some 80 or 120. So yeah, we're going to go with a little bit more coarser and get it scratched up. The more scratches, the better adhesion. So yeah, going to keep on going, and then we'll get to the gluing bit next. After doing that, you can see that the scratches are a lot more prevalent now. Happy days. I've scratched up both sides, and now I've got the alcohol prep pad. You want to be using one of these on each side. Obviously you can be using MEK as I said, or you can use just isopropyl alcohol, the liquid. These pads aren't very big, but yeah, just want to be wiping over everything, getting the excess material, any dust off, and this will also remove grease as well. If you have any oily stuff like that on here, you should be wearing gloves as well realistically, because you'll have oil, natural oils in your fingers. But as you can see, after getting wet and dry, the surface, especially the black one, is a matte finish now, which just shows how rough it actually is. So I'm going to keep on cleaning these up and get onto the gluing stage. As before, the plan of action is to put the 2 layers of glue on this side and 2 layers of glue on the pad as well. So yeah, 2 layers, 1 layer first, let it dry, another layer on top, and then what we do is we get a hairdryer and you heat it up till it's nice and tacky. You can feel it with your finger, you'll sort of stick a little bit. We'll also heat up the pad a little bit more to make it more malleable, because where it is right now it's quite stiff. So yeah, if you heat it up a little bit, it softens this plastic on the outside and makes it more malleable and curvy to go around that curve of the boat. So we're going to get the glue mixed up. I believe it is a 20:1. Last time I think we did 20:1 as well, but I've seen other videos do 10:1. So we're probably going to go in between that, about 15:1. So that's obviously 15 parts glue to 1 part of this. I think if you're getting the glue through the IBF store, it is 2 of the squeezy things to 1 of these. Right then, so we've got the glue in there. Just going to pour it into our tub, get a good amount in there. I'm going to try and not get it on my fingers, because that's not going to be very nice. I'll also show you a little hack, hopefully that will work, to keep this tin in good condition for a year or 2 plus, rather than the sort of 6 months you may get. So yeah, that's that. Bit of hardener in there, 20:1. So yeah, that's quite a lot. That'll do. As I said in the video before, use a paintbrush that you don't love, because you're never going to be using it again basically with glue. But you're going to get this all mixed together. Sort of smells like caramel ice cream. Yum yum. And let's get some glue applied. So yeah, I'm going to go for 1 layer first. You don't want to be doing 2 thicker layers, and you need to make it nice and even. So yeah, there's the first layer on the boat. And we'll go ahead and get a layer on one of the rib ports as well. Well, I'll do both rib ports while we're here. So where you've got the tape, Gorilla Tape on there, that's not going to be moving while you're painting, which is good news. If you're using masking tape, it's probably pretty liable to slip around. You really want to be making sure that you are getting a nice even coating. You don't want to be missing any of the corners, especially because in that case then you might get a really bad stick and it might peel off your boat. So that's already hardening. We've got a nice layer on there. Let's get a layer on the other one as well. So it's probably been about 2 minutes and that is already dry to the touch. So what we're going to do is mix up another batch and we'll get it all on. So as you can see, the edges of these are a little bit dirty, but don't worry about that. This stuff will peel off really easily on the end when you are all done with it stuck on. So don't worry about that. That's also where having the acetone or MEK is really good. And you see this one pretty dirty on this side, but yeah, on the side where it's not been scuffed up, that will come off really easily and look really nice. So yeah, going to mix up the second batch and get the second layer of glue on there. And then, as I said, we'll move on to heating with a hairdryer to make it nice and tacky and then sticking it together. And hopefully we'll be all good from there. And there we go. Just make sure you're getting it all of the edges, all the crevices to get that better stick. You don't want these falling off. Another good technique is to start in the middle and work your way out with your paintbrush just to make sure that you get all of the edges covered with glue. As you can see, we've got a nice thick layer there. It's looking really good for as far as I would say. There we go then. So we've got two really nicely covered Railblaza ports there. Side of the boat is looking good as well. I may go over and do just one more layer on the actual sib just to make sure we have enough glue, because it looks like there's a good amount on the actual Railblaza port. But I don't think that adding just an extra layer on the boat is going to do any harm. Just to make sure 100% that we've got all of those corners. But the next stage, we'll let these dry for a good 10 minutes or so, and then what I'm going to do is peel off all of the tape, and that should leave a nice clean outline of the glue for the port. So the little hack to hopefully preserve the chemicals for a little bit longer is going to be vac packing them and then storing them upside down. So this is halfway there to being an industrial vac packer, and I assume that a lot of people at home won't have one of these. But yeah, any vac packer will do. We're just going to take all of the air out. As you can see, make it nice and tight in there. I'll put some other glues in there as well. We're sucking all of the air out. And in a second, I'm going to seal it. So this is going to help take all of the air. Air is obviously when it gets in through the cracks in the corner of the tin. That's what's going to cause the glue to all go hard. So yeah, if you have it like that and then store it upside down, that's going to last a heck of a lot longer. I don't plan on doing any more gluing on this boat for a while longer. So yeah, so hopefully that will keep that nice and runny for a good long time. So I've waited for this all to dry, so it's going to be the time to start sticking stuff together. So I'm going to take off the tape first. Now fingers crossed this should not take any of the glue off. There's just a tiny little bit of wet glue potentially on the outside that's sort of lifting up, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Yeah, it's not too much problem at all. All is looking good. Take it off nice and quickly. Everything is all good. As you'll hopefully be able to see, there is a nice clean ring of glue there. So what we're going to do, as I said, use the hairdryer on heat. You can use a heat gun if you're edgy, but you are pretty liable to melting your boat. So I'm going to heat this one up first, and then I'm going to heat this one up in my hand, make it nice and malleable, and then we'll get the placement on there and hopefully get it stuck very nicely. I've been heating it for about 2 minutes now, so we're going to go for it. You want to make sure that you've got it all lined up properly. We've got the Railblaza logo that way on this one. We're also going to make sure that we're laying it across to let the air bubbles go out. Where there's a lip here, you want to be going that way rather than going that way. So yeah, I'm going to line it all up and go for it. Needs to be spot on for this. All right then, there we go. So yeah, start pushing it down, making sure there's going to be no air bubbles, or otherwise it will pop straight off. It's good if you have something that like this you can use to push down, just to make sure it's all adhered everywhere. Obviously we've got the other side to do, but for peace of mind I'm going to see if this fits in nicely, otherwise we're in trouble. So yeah, we'll get into that one first, get it into the other side. Look at that, perfect, absolutely perfect. We have now got a space to put our Railblaza bait board. Can't believe it, that looks amazing. Good stuff. Right, let's get on to the other side. So there we go, I've gone round it with a little bit of vodka. There is still a little bit of glue residue. It seems like it may have just slipped the tiniest amount, like a millimetre across for some reason. I pushed down, but we've got a nice seal all the way around. As you saw, the bait table fit in it. As you can see on the other side as well, we've got a perfect fit, and that port went on well as well. So there we go, we've installed another 2 rib ports on my sib, and now we've fitted the Railblaza bait table. Really happy with how it's come out. This looks awesome. It's going to be really helpful on the sib. If you guys have any questions about how to do this, if you need any help, then do drop a comment in the comment section down below. Obviously smack that like button, hit the subscribe as well if this is the sort of content you look forward to seeing. So yeah, appreciate you watching everybody. I'll say if you need any help, let me know. I'm happy. Good stuff. I'll see you in the next one.